And if you don't know, we're kind of 2 months overdue having an update, having an armory skin change. Last time they said last chance to claim this offer, we had 3 weeks, 21 days before they removed those skins and replaced them with something new. How long has it now been since last chance has been released? 66 days ago. Wait, I don't remember if we talked about this. Armory case farmers are reporting that many of their bot accounts got commercially banned by Valve in the past 24 hours. And then there was this YouTube video. Results of the case farm in CS2. I haven't watched this yet. Let's see.
Yesterday and today, there were major farmer ban waves. I won't go into detail. I got banned too. It was practically shaved off, buried under the rug. This time, judging by the chat stories, it was mostly 2v2 mode that was banned. The same mode that hasn't seen any wave bans for the past...
What? Guys, if you were there when we did this yap, when we made this video, what we learned is that they have never banned anyone doing the wingman strategy. People were farming in competitive. People were farming in deathmatch. And those ones were a lot harder to do and also a lot riskier because those ones would continuously get banned. But the thing with the wingman one, 0 ban waves have ever happened with wingman, with the people that were farming over on wingman. So like this, they were doing wingman 2v2 and they would have all 4 of the bots and then 2v2, all 4 of the bots, etc., etc., etc. It's this guy, or it's these people, the wingman people.
But if you farm wingman, you fill the whole server. Nobody sees you. Nobody can report you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really disturb other people's gameplay. There are 2 years without clear ban wave touching
2
wingman,
years.
and death matches get ban waves every...
So never in CS2's history, basically. And then last week, Gopa reports that wingman is starting to get banned.
Year and a half. I wouldn't be too quick to celebrate for one simple reason. Bombers were banned far fewer times in DM and other modes. Therefore, I wouldn't expect any visible improvement or reduction in the number of bots in these modes just yet. The Celestial...
And he's now saying it was only wingman bots who got banned.
Empire Brothers are also sharing their bans from this wave. We know they have larger farms there and maybe some different
all that
software,
banned.
but even that doesn't help. This leads to the following conclusions. Most likely, we've just seen an armory rotation. After all, before a major update, there are often, if not always, farmer ban waves, especially if the wave changes how the armory works.
Is this real or no? I would go crazy with 345,000 stars. I think he does pose a good point here, though. Like, why else would they be coming through and trying to ban as many people as they can if they're not clearing up the armory stars that were ill-gotten before they drop a new armory collection?
Secondly, we're seeing
okay,
ban
let's
waves
see.
become more frequent and new patterns are emerging. Perhaps a micro opportunity has emerged, suggesting they've seriously decided to crack down on farms. So today I'll share the results of my farm and what the future holds.
So he has a first-hand account, rather. What is this?
Well, Farmer's Farm will never be the same again when everyone was buying in just because they saw the first limit. Now there's going to be an auction house. There'll probably be goals there. Oh, that's it. There's no more siege mode. Now everyone's really going to run to Nadam. Everyone's going to get banned. Everyone. Okay, guys. Let's all get...
He says they're going to bring an auction mode into the armory. There's no reason to do wingman anymore, siege mode. Everyone's going to go to deathmatch. And then as everyone moves over to deathmatch now, Valve is going to ban everyone on deathmatch, which is kind of smart. They didn't ban deathmatch and wingman at the exact same time. They banned people off of wingman, scares them away, makes the people run over to deathmatch, and then they're going to do a massive ban wave of everyone farming stars over on DM. And this is why Valve is 10 steps ahead. He then also says we should all get jobs because we're all about to get banned.
And I got banned. Damn it, I can't believe it.
Why am I summing things up?
Hey! Uh-oh. Wait, why is he exposing me? Yo, chill. What the frick? I did not know I was going to be in this.
I went to Carl's stream where we talked about farms.
Who the hell is Carl? Who is Carl?
There, I explained how they work and why, and how I built my farm. If you ask me if that stream is the reason for these bans, since I was talking about 2v2 there, which hasn't been banned for a long time, then personally, I think not.
Okay, good.
For sure. Even before that stream, the topic of farms had already been...
Thank you, Gopa, for showing me as innocent. Thank you. I was just talking about it. The Valve dev does not watch my content. Believe me.
brought up more than once by YouTubers who are definitely watched too. And we've seen previously unseen ban patterns emerging like the one.
Oh my god, I got scared there for a second.
So I think FV will start banning farms more often and using new patterns even without my stream. After Armor, they've literally multiplied lockdown on building steps. Wolf even posted about banning farms, something they never did before. And if they did, it was so rare that no one remembers it. Regarding my farming, I stopped Armor at the end of April. Then the exchange rate I was farming with changed, and the items themselves dropped so much that even cast favor farming became pointless. The profit was minuscule and the risks remained high. So I simply collected all the farm cases and distributed them across various non-farming accounts using intermediaries. Here are 3 of my Telegram chats with Armor farms. And you see that they basically finished farming around the same time in April, after which they stopped farming and I started mining cases. But I also had a micro farm of an active pool, which I'd been farming on since February. By farming standards, there weren't many there, just 100 primes. I'll show you the long history of the drop right away to dispel any unnecessary doubts.
Right.
Almost everything was banned there. I shaved everything down to nothing, buried it under the hood. Only 10 accounts survived. To sum it up, the Armory farm paid for itself twice as much. But if you include Bubblets, so the active
doubled his money.
farm paid for itself 3 times as much thanks to the terminal, which remained expensive for a long time. Plus 5 more computers that I built earlier, which cost me 500, 600 bucks each. Now they cost 1,000 thanks to the increased cost of RAM and SSDs. Overall, the thread was a success.
Quick double.
And doesn't sadden me, as it's a natural end to any farm. I'm glad I managed to farm without a razor at a good time, loot with armor, and get a new terminal. But if you ask me if I want to immediately launch a new farm, which is what people usually do, I'll say no, and there are reasons for that. The payback period for a weekly drop farm is now about 4 months. Ban waves seem to be happening more frequently now. Throughout January and February, there were waves of bans on DM. A month and a half later, a ban based on trade patterns affected all modes. Now the bans are mostly based on 2x2. This isn't a very good trend. Plus, farming has become more difficult, hardware has become more expensive, and simply trading to the storage room to collect drops is no longer possible. Both farm accounts in the storage room itself will be banned. And let me remind you, accounts that farm Armory for skipping have $500 in items 95% of the time paying, and losing such an account is much more painful than losing a $15 Prime account.
True.
From this, I've personally come to the following conclusions for now. There's no need to rush to farm again. I'll wait and see if there are new...
What I'm surmising here, what I'm concluding, is that botting, as we know it, is kind of dying. It's kind of being killed. It was actually, I don't know if this was intentional by Valve, but first things first, they get rid of all of the OG cases. You used to be able to get this as a drop. Used to be able to get this as a drop, 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 this as a drop. You see how expensive these are? It's $3 here, really more like $5, $50 here. You could get these as a drop. They got rid of that, and now the actively dropping cases are way cheaper, which already makes it less profitable for you to keep open 10 CS accounts that you're paying $15 for. It will take weeks longer, if not months longer, to pay back for that account. Imagine they do get rid of the Dreams and Nightmares case. If they get rid of this, it's going to be even more unprofitable for these bots to exist. At least from what I'm hearing, if you had problems with the bots, if you hate them, if you hate running into them within your deathmatch lobbies, it's seeming like it's getting better, and the trend will probably continue to get better, especially if computer parts get more expensive, and if they continue to ban so aggressively.
Patterns and how often the waves occur. Plus, a complete overhaul of the Armor Star system is in the air, and if it works more or less like the sticker shop from the Major, it's a big question mark over how exactly farm profits will change.
They're saying they're going to completely overhaul how the armory works. And is this like a very common take over in Russia? He's now said this twice in the video. Like, on paper, it makes sense. They completely overhaul how Cologne Major works, how the Majors system works. They completely overhaul cases. And then they have a 2-month additional delay on the Armory update. It probably would make sense that they're completely overhauling the Armory. It will be a system like terminals, but you pay with stars. I don't really think that many people enjoy terminals. So that could low-key stop people from even buying skins out of the armory.
Overhaul of the
I don't know, though.
system is in the air. And if it works more or less like the sticker shop from the major, it's a big
Mhm.
question mark over how exactly farm profits will change. So no, even after recouping all this stuff several times over, I'm in no rush to go back, especially in armor. The profits aren't what they used to be, and the bans are only getting worse. I could recruit followers for farming on all 5 computers, but firstly, with the current AVGs, the profit is so meager that it's a bummer. And secondly, it's incredibly inconvenient to collect items and split the profits. I can't even imagine
Right.
how convenient it is to farm followers' accounts now, given the trade bans, and selling items directly from the account as if sweeping the street were easier. The update is generally okay, and if you ask me if I want farms to disappear completely, I'll answer it this way. I wouldn't mind, because I don't
Okay.
live off farming. But if you tell farmers to their faces that you want their business to go under, you quite useless creature.
Jesus.
Creatures really. I can understand both sides. For some,
What is happening, bro?
accounts or farming
Okay.
themselves is the only way to avoid tedious labor, and they don't
Why
know
was that
how
so
else
loud?
to do anything else. Tisa. On the other hand, there are players who are tired of bots and DMs, or investors who don't like bloated SCPIs and those same armor items, which are
I mean, listen. If you're over in China, you're maybe making $3 to $4 an hour, right? If you're like a delivery man or woman, you're maybe making like $3 to $4 an hour. Through just farming of Counter-Strike skins, you can make hundreds of dollars a day. Telling them, hey, you actually have to stop. That's going to be a hard pill for them to swallow.
the farmer's fault, but this is the ecosystem we live in. We have to accept the rules of the game. Just as there are bugs in your garden that eat your crops, there are farmers on Steam. Valve also benefits from people
What?
continuing to buy Prime and generate hundreds of thousands more online players who will
Gold,
not
gold! Oh.
leave until there are 5 or 6 consecutive wave bans with different patterns every month. And even then, I doubt the farmers will go away completely. After all, more often than not, people simply repurchase their accounts and continue farming. Lately, people have become so convinced that farming is a fairy tale, a risk-free money-making button, that it will pay for itself 100% and bring in a steady income without bans or debt. And this was indeed
Right.
the case, for example, in 2v2 mode, where there was a long history of no bans. Farmer and the active pool paid for themselves quite quickly by farm standards, but times have changed. Some simply don't exist in armor.
Why did his
Currencies
voice
will be
just
nerfed
change?
Very quickly. This would require a long transition to other currencies, at least 2 weeks. NVG25 is no longer in the active val pool. Soon there will be less than 1. But we have a reality where Steam is tightening the screws. First, by ending the release of physical cards, and now with sophisticated
Right.
bans. We're even seeing cases being replaced with terminals. Major pack capsules are no longer available. Knives
Okay, so the banning of Steam gift cards is also to crack down not just on like the fraudsters and whatnot and the people that are trying to scam, but also it's good because there's just more transparency. Like if you're buying a card now or if you're buying Steam Balance now, Valve will way more easily be able to track it. Whereas before, I could buy $1,000 worth of Steam gift cards, put it on a new account which has no association with myself, and then I just have $1,000, which is way more sus from Valve's POV.
and gloves are crafted just like souvenirs.
So I get it.
I wouldn't rely on past farm ban patterns these days and base the logic on the fact that farmers buy Prime and therefore Valve will ban them more often than before. We live in a new time, a new era. Saddam is rebuilding, the screws are tightening. Working according to old guidelines, hoping for the same old routine is a rash decision. Maybe I'm fundamentally wrong, and farms will be banned every 6 months. Now they'll introduce a huge auction house in armor that will buy farms every 2 months.
He keeps saying the auction. Okay, let's theory craft around this. Let's say they do bring an auction, right? And it's a one-of-one item. It's called the Charm Baby Carrot TT. Starts off at 1 star. Then, if someone wants to buy it, they can auction, or they can join the auction and offer 10 stars. Then, someone else can come through and offer 100 stars, and then someone can say 1,000 for a one-of-one item that only exists one time. And let's say there's a new item, like, I don't know, every single week or something. And at the end of that auction, someone comes through and drops 20,000 stars. So someone just paid 20,000 stars. What is that, like $10,000 on this one-of-one item? It doesn't seem that unrealistic. And we also have seen leaks about it in the files, like in the data files. Also, what does this achieve? Well, if they're already banning all the bots, right? But they miss some, well, how do you get rid of all of those stars that shouldn't really be out there? Add an auction house. So the people with hundreds of thousands of stars or tens of thousands of stars, delete them all at the same time. They have to bring a way to earn armory stars for free so it's not more gambling. I don't think they would do that ever.
The farms will continue
Let's
to bring in
continue.
money for those who farm constantly. Or maybe it's somewhere in the middle, but personally, I don't want to go back just yet. I'd rather just watch how it all unfolds. Some will say that's how it should be. I won't argue. For some, it really does. But that won't stop the farmers until there's no chance of a break even. And as Donald Trump said, guys, don't cry in the casino.
All right. I would like to take no responsibility for the banning of these bots. It just really coincidentally lined up with when I talked about the situation. But Valve, even though I'm not taking the credit, I will say, very good job.